Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, I get my Monterey Bay Knives Turbo back from the Knife Modders, and gorgeous it is indeed. Tempest Knives Mach 1 Kickstarter goes live, and we talk about recently acquired knives you've gotten since the turn of the year. Blade Ogre, Chris, good to have you here, sir. Always a pleasure. Blame Dexter, Unga Munga yourself, good sir. And Dave, greetings to you, Tactical Blade Junkie yourself. I just want to let you know your knives will be back in the mail tomorrow. I completed my Bante video. What a cool knife. I actually discovered some even more greatness about that thing while I was shooting. So look for that. And also, I'll send you a tracking number. Edward, we have Hero Sticks. Good to have you here, sir. Evening and cheers, he says. It's a Gungan says evening all. Well, I say evening back to you. James Moore in the house. Hey, folks, he says. James also goes by President Merkin Muffley on Instagram. Top Dog, good to have you here. Top Dog, the best part of Thursday right here. I love that. Thank you. Oh, that was a bit of my announcer voice. I've been doing a lot of voiceover work at work. And hey, what's up, Peter? Therapeutic Edge is with us. And sometimes people like me to ham it up. And I have fun doing that. Mike Flamian, good to have you here, Mike. It is a pleasure. K Mason, good to have you here. He's applauding everyone. And I would like to remind you, as K Mason and others like Nick EDC have in the past, he says hello to Bob and Jim. Please hit the like button while you're here, while we're talking about it, while we're thinking about it. Hit the like button. That'd be muchly appreciated. Thank you, one and all. So what were you carrying today? We'll get to that in a minute because, well, I'm going to hog the floor for a minute. D-Bass, good to have you here. My EDC today actually got used. It's a little bit of both. Something I used and then something that is new, recently acquired for our topic of discussion later. Hey, Alex, we have Alex with us, Knife Box Channel. Good to have you here, as always, good sir. Dom Bond. Hello, he says. I say hello to you, Dom. Dino N. What's up, Bob? Good now to see you again. Well, it's good to see you too. Byron Kennedy. Well, good to see your avatar, that is. Byron, it's always good to see Byron. Hi, Bob, Jim, junkies everywhere. Good to have Byron with us. What were you carrying today? Like I said, we'll get to that after I get to mine. Thanks, Bob. Guess I should have I should box up yours as well, but I'm stuck in the antimatter or so. I see what you did there. Dave is good with puns, I have noticed. Kevin Moore, good to have you here. A grand howdy to a like button has been hit. I appreciate that. A grand howdy to all you wonderful owners and appreciators of sharpened implements. And you, Bob and Jim. Well, thank you, Kevin. Okay, so today was something new, but also something somewhat new to me, and got a lot of use. This is my main carry today. Was this here Chris Reeve knives Umnumzan Tanto? Such a great knife. Voiceover at work. Do you mind my asking what you do for work? But I produce television and video stuff. And I'm cheap and available, and other producers like to use me because I don't charge anything. So it works out for all of us. But this thing is great. I love that wedge tip at the front. I love the wedge tip of the Chris Reeve Tanto blades. Just beautiful. Bob's your uncle. Good to have you here, Patina Turner. And then right here, you've got this nice thumb swale. What's up, knife junkies? Patina says, or asks. So right here, you got a swale for your thumb. That's really good for pushing down and doing hard cuts, which frankly, I've actually never done with this. No doubt it's built like a brick shit house. It will take that kind of cut with no problem. I'll have to hire you, Bob says. It's a Gungan. It'd be my pleasure. It would be my pleasure, sir. I'm just kidding. I won't talk like that. Hey, Brant, good to have you. Hello, all, he says. Hello to you, sir. So what did I use this Umnumzan for? I sharpened a couple of pencils. I use pencils half the time at work, pencils and pens. So I sharpened some pencils. But the real work came when I got home, and my younger daughter has a project due tomorrow. It was a Martha Washington puppet. There was quite a bit of cutting out on the cardboard that I taped to our kitchen table. And oh, my favorite CRK, my favorite Chris Reeve knife says Addicted to Knives. Yeah, me too. Me too. I love this thing. I'm not crazy about the clip point version, I must say, but this forward wedge part comes to a zero edge. It's so sharp. Scott N, good to have you here, Scott. And I used this to cut out doilies, and I used it to cut out some black felt, some wool felt, and some other stuff. And this was actually very interesting. It cut really well through the wool felt, which other even scissors were having somewhat difficulty going through. I know scissors aren't always two blades, but my scissors are sharp. It just wasn't working. I need to buy a Chris Reeve. See what the fuss is about. You know what? It's funny because when I got my Sebenza, my first of two Chris Reeve knives, that was my attitude, and I got it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it," but it still didn't get my heart racing. Hey, JN, good to see you here. What's up, everybody? He says, didn't get my heart racing until I lived with it for a while. Odd as that sounds, and now I appreciate the Umnumzan and the Sebenza as two of my absolutely most durable and sturdy knives. But they also have a real luxurious feel in the action. Where they are sort of the pleasing opposite of this kind of action. This is the drop shut. These require pressure, constant, lovely, even pressure. And it's very gratifying. I love these knives. The Umnumzan is next level awesome. I agree. I know you have this very same one, don't you, Peter? The Tanto, I believe. Cutting out doilies. Yeah, yes, because Martha Washington's lace, we made her a lace dress with a felt. She actually kind of looked like a nun, but I didn't say that. But felt, yeah, so doilies for lace. you know, I think we got the last doilies in all of Virginia, actually. I ran all over the place looking for those doilies. Sounds like my relationship with the PM2. I never understood why they were so loved until I got one and lived with it. That's funny that you say that too about the PM2, because I've been having a recent. I'm falling back in love. I've been having a recent, I'm gravitating back towards my PM2. It's a standard all black S30V, but not for daily carry, just for work around the house. It is awesome. It is a very good knife. But there are silly things about it, or things that are silly that bother me out of using it on a regular basis. One of them is the blade to handle ratio. Bob, would you think less of me if I never get a CRK? Oh, certainly not. I would certainly not. Hey, taste. Everyone's got their taste. Your taste is fantastic. And really, why waste time on knives that you have no interest in, or that you're not going to carry? That's what's great about those pass around groups. That's what's great about having buddies in this hobby who can send you stuff to check out. You can check it out and get it out of your system. It's like sowing your wild oats, but you don't have to. There are no repercussions just as long as you send it back. So, no, I would not think less of you, good sir. But if you never have a Tanto, that might be a little. Maybe you should just get a Tanto just to try it, and then throw it away, or just send it my way when you don't like it. And see what you think. Okay, so the second thing I carried today is on my new list. This is a newly acquired. You've seen this now. I think I've shown it. I showed it on the midweek supplemental yesterday. This is the Tucson Knives TS301 and then -D2, because this has the D2 blade. Originally, they had fantastic 14C28N. I say fantastic because Jared Neve is a big fan of that type of steel, but also says that, in his opinion, Tucson does it beautifully. I have been quite pleased with this D2. Yeah, I'm fine never buying a CRKT. I think you mean a CRK, but on both accounts, I hear you. It's just for me, it was like something I just got to try. And when I got it, I was like, okay, I get it. And then it took me a while to fall for it. Speaking of the PM2, I'm buying my first one in store tomorrow in Crewware Micarta. Where do you live, man? I live in the most domesticated environ possible. I would love to be able to walk into a store and buy a Spyderco. That'd be cool. I have to go after work, and I'll get home late, but still worth it. Oh, Nick. Oh, Nick. I'm crying tears of sadness for you, that it will slightly inconvenience you to go get an awesome knife in a brick and mortar store, no less. Knives Fast. Hey, how's it going, Casey? Good to see you, sir. I got your knife right here. But first, this one. This action is insane. Again, it's it's the kind of action where you feel compelled. I feel compelled pretty regularly to check and make sure there's no blade play. Indeed, there is no blade play, and it's just that smooth. Uh, I have recognized Tucson knives as excellently done, since four were loaned to me, but they're not to my taste until I saw this one. I love that micarta with the carbon fiber bolster. I do like the shape of that crazy broad clip point blade. That Tucson rocks, and 14C28N from Tucson is hard to beat. Yeah, that's what I'm understanding. Now, I wouldn't say that their D2 is a slouch. Haven't done much with this knife. The only thing, this was great. I work with cameramen and guys who set up lights and stuff, their grips and such. And there was a very tight and small, what do you call it, zip tie around an electrical cable, and none of them had anything on them to cut. I was like, really? Like, I have to do it? The guy in the nice pants has to cut these. So I come over and I and I take this knife. I had this one on me, and I slipped that nice little, that acute tip. It just went right under, and I exerted hardly any pressure, and it split open the zip tie, and I got a wow. And I just walked away, and I was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Don't forget your dull Leatherman next time. Hey, Molan Labe, good to have you here. Gorgeous blades. He says, well, thank you, sir. It's weird to say thank you. It's weird to say I didn't make or design them, but I laid down my hard-earned cash for them. So thank you for justifying my purchase, helping me justify my purchase. So this is what I was carrying today: the Tucson 301 and the Omnumzon by Chris Reeve, an odd carry pair for me. I had no fixed blade, no smaller blade. It was two full size, frame locky folders. Kind of a weird thing for me to do. I'm a little ashamed, but we're all here and we all understand each other. So I hope you don't mind that I broke my rules today with my carry. What did you carry today? Now I want to know. Now I'm really interested, now that I've had a chance to talk myself. And I know the whole time I was talking, you were thinking about what you were going to say, so you didn't really hear me. Uh, so all that thing about breaking the rules and all that, it got off my chest, but I don't have to feel embarrassed that you have that knowledge now because you weren't retaining it. On loan from Jock over there in England, he bought this really cool little Emerson Knives June Bug and drop shipped it to me. And when I'm done checking it out, I will send it over to him, along with, actually, I have another one to send over to him. I showed this a few weeks ago. He's got this cool little Jake B Creates, totally CNC made, gorgeous little neck knife. I'll be sending both of these over to Jock post haste, or at least next week sometime. But this thing is pretty cool. Professor EDC, good to have you here. Hey, Bob, Jim, everyone. Hope you all fine junkies are doing just fine. Love being a part of this great group. Well, it's awesome to have you here, man. Have you seen this? This is the June Bug by Emerson, the audaciously small Emerson. I mean, look at that. That's a standard Emerson clip. This is about the length of a standard Emerson clip. It's a Gungan says, I carried a Spyderco Yojimbo. So nice. I love the Yojimbo. And the Benchmade SOCP Mini. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that they had a mini. Blade Hobby. I carried my new Civivi Keen Natter and SRM with the access lock with thumb hole access lock. Oh, yeah. With thumb hole. Full budget today. That's nice. I like doing that sometimes. Just kind of going full, slumming it. No, I'm just kidding. Going full budget. I like that. I've been flexing my budget muscles recently, and I'll show you something I did cool here in just a minute. Dave says, blades acquired in 2022 so far, on the way. SOCOM Bravo cannot, so far and on the way. So far or on the way. Sorry. SOCOM Bravo. Cannot wait to get my hands on that. I called them and emailed them, and I haven't heard a response. So, Riot EXO. Oh, I want to check that out. That's cool. BlackRock Voodoo. That's very cool. Civivi Synergy 3. We Arsenal and Chris Reeve Knives Williams HZ. Oh, that's cool. The HZ6 fixed blade. That's like CRKT's version of the one that they had made by Winkler Knives, which I would love to have. Mike Flamey and Koenig Arius. Terrible knife. For folder, and of course I'm joking. That was a stupid joke. Koenig Arius for folder and Hoback fix. Quaken and Victorinox on keychain. Spyderco Arc neck knife. Arc neck knife. Is that a Perrin design? Does that have a little place to put your finger? And it's got kind of a pistol grip. The budget guy says, first of all, good to have you here, budget guy. Did I just walk into a stream with a guy who called a Leatherman dull? Well, I'm sticking around now. Oh, yeah. I was working with some guys who should have had at least among them one sharp knife or one functioning Leatherman, and none of them did. So I saved the day with my Chinese Tucson knife, and I shamed them with it. And I think they learned their lesson. It was an important one. Max the Maker, good to have you here. Unlike you, I did not use my knives today, but I did have a Kaiser Swayback. Oh, I like the Kaiser Swayback. And the White River FC 3.5 on me. That's a cool knife too. I like that FC 3.5. Our good buddy Nick has one of those, I believe. So the June Bug. Let me open this up before the suspense absolutely kills you. Okay, so look at this. Very small knife. It has a really nice looking sheep's foot, or are we going to call that a Warncliffe or sheep's foot blade? Not sure what we're going to call that. And I'm not sure of the blade steel. I believe it's the standard 154 cm. I think it would be marked otherwise. Occasionally they'll do something with S35VN, something like this. This is a signature series. You can see Ernest Emerson's signature. This is a little knife here. You can see a signature there. It's extremely sharp, very small. I have mixed feelings about that clip. I like how wide the whole knife is. It's as wide as a standard Emerson here, and that helps in controlling such a tiny knife. I learned that with the Rhino, baby Rhino from Off Grid Knives. I mean, look at how small. This is a small Emerson. That's a small knife. It's a 2-inch cutting edge there. But so that wide blade really does help. The jimping, the nice rough peel ply is nice. It feels great in hand. I can get almost 4 fingers, 3.5 fingers on there. If I come up like this, I can get 4. It's a nice little knife. And like I was saying, as I was starting to say, mixed feelings about that clip, because I think it's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward to have the clip as long as the blade itself, but it really does aid in grip, whether you're holding it in your left hand or in your right hand. It just widens the whole package and makes it more reasonable to use in any sort of fashion, or any sort of like hard fashion. This is number 135 of 144, and it's cool. I'm very grateful to Jock for letting me check this out. This is not one I'm going to order, but it's nonetheless, it's an Emerson I'm happy to experience. And like most Emersons, or many Emersons, it's an incidental front flipper or accidental front flipper. See how that tang protrudes there? You can definitely use it to flip open the knife, just like you can with a lot of, can you do it with this one? A lot of the knives have those protruding tangs that you can use to flip it open. All right. So that is the Emerson Knives June Bug on loan from Jock. Thank you, Jock. Chris says, carrying the Medford Smooth Criminal. JE made Lanny's clip, the EOS Urchin, blue, black, and tie friction fold. Oh, cool. CJRB more Malia, so that's the larger Malia, designed by Swags. And the Ogre Swayback with finger choil. Ooh. I want to see that one, Chris. On the Edge, good to have you here. I'm a horrible knife junkie tonight for being late. In my defense, I'm potty training a 2-year-old and tending to a 2-month-old. Dad life. Hey, man, that's what comes first, and then And then when you want to start talking to them about knives and they glaze over, or your wife is just like, get the hell out of my face with your knife talk, then you come. We'll be here till midnight. Um, God love you. We need as many good dads as we can get. Addicted to Knives says 2 old school Tucson Tantos and a Max Ace Babylon. Max Ace, man. Max Ace, man. They are cool. They are really doing some cool stuff recently. I had a Max Ace years ago that was very it was a really cool and unique knife. It was kind of Warren Cliffy, kind of Hawkbilly. Peter says AM8 knives flicks in pocket all day. I don't know what this is. Peter's a bit of a maven. He's one of those guys that always has something new that I'm always like, huh, what's this? What is this witchcraft? And then it becomes part of my viewing lexicon. Blame Dexter says, I'm talking about on Instagram. Then I start looking at it. And that has been happening with Max Ace, by the way. That's where I was starting with that Goliath and the Sandstorm, those big ass knives. Those are cool. And then the one that Knife Whisperer has been showing off, the double peaked Bowie. I love that. Blame Dexter says Ted Grizzlar first edition limited run with red and black G10 scales, Sith colors. Nice. And S45 VN. What is this Ted Grizzlar? Okay. All right. Got to do it. I'm sorry. I know you didn't tune in to watch a guy Google something, but Ted Grizzlar? Am I just living under a rock? I quite likely could be. Okay, I'm not seeing it, and I'm not going to spend any more time Googling it. But I want to know what this is, Blame Dexter. It sounds interesting. The Harns Blazer. Top Dog has the Harns Blazer. I love Harns knives. I have one sitting over on the shelf that Dave bequeathed to the channel that we will bequeath on shortly. It is sweet. I cannot believe they're making these knives for $45. The Harns knives are awesome. I mean, I say that with the caveat that I haven't taken them out and beaten on them, but they they feel really, they work great. I'm sorry, Jim, can you go back one? I almost called him James. James. Harns Blazer and a high quality, not a high quality knife after I go off about how high quality are. It's a beast and built like a tank. Not a high quality knife. It's a beast and built like a tank. Interesting. Okay. The 2 Harns that I've experienced have been very light and perfect action and sharp. And, they've been good, but Cold Steel Recon 1 and Kershaw Brawler. Cool. I haven't seen the Brawler in a while. JN, they're not your rules. Break them as often as you like. They are my rules, and I have to live by them. Otherwise, all is lost. Rusty Cleaver, good to see you here, Rusty. Hi, y'all, he says. Dino N. Spyderco Gale Bradley 2. What a cool knife. SDK Maroon, linen micarta. Love it. So amazing with that liner cutout. Man, okay, so how do you feel? Linen versus canvas. I love them both, but linen, there is something classy about linen. It's like a linen suit. Something classy about it. Maybe it's the tight fabric weave. SOCP Mini is much easier to carry than the original. And that is 100% the point with an EDC fixed blade. Sounds like a obvious, but there are a lot of knives that I have that end up not getting carried too much because ultimately they're not that comfortable when I wear them, carry them the way I prefer to. My new Spidey Chef, says Scott N. That's such a nice knife, man. I do love the Spidey Chef, and I love how the handle, the blasted titanium handle, snail trails so severely with very little carry. I love that. D-Bass says, I carried my brand new F5.5 titanium Sega pattern today. Is this a Shirogorov? Is this a Shirogorov, D-Bass? F5.5 titanium Sega pattern. I'm assuming that's the type of steel. Mach 51 and the 1929 for me. A fabulous choice, I would say, because I have one and then I have in my possession the other. And hope you don't mind, JN, but I did cut a cardboard box with it and was I know you're like, yeah, that's what it's for, dude. But it is a prototype and it looked so nice, but I couldn't resist. And Man alive. I think when I'm going to be filming, shooting my video of the Mach 51 this weekend so I can have it back in the mail, but going off to who's going to check it out next. And in that video, I have to show this cutting some cardboard because I was really not surprised that it did a great job, but surprised how amazingly it just slipped through the cardboard. It was fun to cut with. After pawing it and flipping it obsessively for a week, I finally got up the gumption to cut something with it. Ket McNessart, good to have you, Mary. Man, not Mary. Good to have you here, man. Carrying the Eldris as per usual, the Finch Drifter, awesome knife, and the LT Wright Next Gen. I don't think I know what that is. Is that kind of an EDC? LT Wright? I do like LT Wright quite a bit. Thank you for your exposing me to that Canadian belt knife. That was so cool. Sean M, good to have Sean M here. Good evening, folks. Sean M was busting my chops about drinking bourbon a month and a half ago or something. I think I got hot under the collar about some important knife issue. Mike Flamian, Spyderco neck knife, arc, or always ready knife. Okay, yeah. Okay, I know that one. That's a cool knife. They're all cool. What am I? It's a Gungan. Knife Junkie, this old sword blade reviews. Either one of you guys sell me your Weebla cow. That would have to be Dave because my Weebla cow is his Weebla cow. I borrowed it from him to do that video and offered to buy it from him. I think I have the right of first refusal on that knife. If someday he wakes up and says, damn, this is one ugly knife. What was I thinking all this time? He's going to sell it to me. But something tells me that's not going to happen because he keeps sending me pictures of custom knives from Miguel Barbudo, the guy who designed the Black Cow. And he's like, I got to get this, I got to get that. And I've noticed he has not gotten any of those knives yet, which means he's going to hold fast to that Black Cow. So let's encourage him to get a custom, and then the Wii will be like nothing. But that thing is so cool. I kicked myself for not buying it when it first came out. Rusty Cleaver says, today I carried a Tucson TS81. So that means it's one of the earlier ones, right? Tie and M390 Tucson. Man, since I've gotten this one, I've been kind of trolling various sites, looking at them, and they're cool. There's such a wide variety, and I'm lucky in that there are few, pretty much few that appeal to me visually, and that's the door. That's the door that has to open first. Carrying the 80/20 Slim Sharkfoot, very nice. Gotta say, I'm late to the party, but glad I got in. So, what do you think of the Sharkfoot blade? I mean, I'm assuming you like it from what you just said. It is interesting. I like the look of the June Bug, says Max the Maker. Yeah, it is. Here, I'll put it under the camera again. It is a beaut, this thing. Small. I would probably remove the clip. It is still fat enough to comfortably use without the clip. I would add a little fob and I would drop this in the bottom of my pocket. The budget guy says, I'm outclassed, but by far, but carrying a CRKT offbeat and Schrade little finger. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Schrade Littlefinger. That's cool. I'm a big fan of the sharp finger and the CRKT offbeat. Which one is that? I can't think of what that is, but CRKT, I bring them up regularly. I'm grateful for them, especially as I am to a number of other companies who are willing to innovate for people who are not willing to pay or cannot pay, $500 for an innovative knife. They do innovative things by designers that I could never afford. And I'm grateful for that, and I think we can all be grateful for that. So I do dig CRKT. Sometimes I just wish they would finally go through their gigantic stock of 8 CR13 and move on to D2 or something, because their construction is there. Even their steel frame locks, some of them like the Lateralis, JB Stout Lateralis by Boker, felt like a titanium frame lock. It was so light. So they do a great job. Oh, wait. That was Boker. What are we talking about? Oh my God. Okay. Moving on. That's a cool Emerson. I wish more small knives. Yeah. Okay. So Boker and CRKT, I respect them both for the same thing. And CRKT is also doing great steel frame locks like Boker. Sorry, I brought up a Boker there. Okay. I wish more small knives would borrow from the ergos of Cold Steel. Oh, of the Cold Steel Tough Light. You can get a full purchase on that thing. I use the Cold Steel Tough Light all the time. It's our bathroom, one of our bathroom knives, master bathroom knives, and it gets pulled out and used for a lot of stuff. It is a great knife, and you can totally control that blade because you can grip with that little handle. Michael Morgan, good to have you here. Sorry, guys, movie night. Oh, well, enjoy, man. That sounds awesome. I hope it's a good one. I hope it's The Revenant. I love that movie. Carrying the Strider SMF, says Professor EDC. Very nice choice. And the Leatherman Wingman. Leatherman Wingman. I like the Wingman. That one, I have several wingmen that ride around in my backpacks and such. Carrying the Miguron Valona today. That is a cool one. Miguron is also another one of these very impressive companies. Their stuff is just, I don't know, really nicely done. Gear ND, what up, dog? Well, what up yourself, dog? Good to have you here. K Mason, Ted, Tactical Everyday Dad. Oh, yes, right. And he had, I think he had Stroop do one of his designs. It's from Tactical Everyday Dad, Bob. It's a great fixed blade. Yes, that is a cool fixed blade. I think you showed that off the other last Monday, Casey. I've been noticing. I like how he's had a number of different people make it too, or make his designs. Very cool, and I like his logo. It's charming and cute. Michael Morgan says Kaiser Towser today. That's a cool one. Dyed the micarta purple and bronzed the liners. Damn, that sounds beautiful, man. That sounds beautiful. I love the look of this Towser K. Want to get my hands on it. That's why I've been so enamored with this. This is the Kubi Vagrant. I love that blade. This is Max Chuk designed this one. But the Towser K, is that the same designer? I don't know, but the blade is, I like this is a little bit pointier than the Towser K. Actually, I think this is a beautiful blade right here. I think it has the Towser K beat, but I think the full package of the Towser is absolutely gorgeous. I would get it with the contoured micarta, and I love the idea of dyeing them purple. How nice. Patina Turner says, I feel like I always carry the same thing when I'm watching your show. It's the ZT640. That's awesome, man. You know, you could lie, but I'm glad you don't. You could be like, oh, I carried one of my many Rocksteads today, or something like that. But you know what? I'm glad you tell the truth. That 640 is an awesome knife, based on the Viper 5, I think, an early model of Ernest Emerson's. And I just think it's awesome. It's beautiful. And it would be a great one to have reground hollow, and probably my last favorite ZT that I've ever had. Rusty Cleaver says, the only Harns knife I have is the Assassin, which I was lucky enough to win during a live with Women Carry Knives and a Therapeutic Edge. How cool. It's a great knife. I know which one you're talking about. I just think it's funny to name a knife Assassin. But that aside, you know, it is a sweet knife. Bob, check your Insta. I sent you a link to the Grizzlar. Oh, okay, cool. I will indeed. I definitely will. So I sometimes forget about instant about DM. Like I get wrapped up in work and all that crud I have to do. Wow, the Brawler is old school. The Brawler. Is that the Tuya? The Tuya Knives Brawler? Today I carried my ProTech SBR. Great little blade. Very cool blade, and such a cool fixed blade they made with that ProTech SBR. As we're moseying along, I just want to show you something real quick. Something I did. I'm in this stage. I'm wrapping everything with twine. Hey, Bobby 357. Carried my trusty, humble rock jumper. That's a cool knife. That's with the Warncliffe blade, right? Projects with Paul. Good to have you here. Hey, everyone, he says. So this is my car fixed blade. It rides in the center console. Cut all you want, sir. Okay. Thank you. I will. I mean, I figured it's M390. It's not going to melt, but when I cut through it, I was like, man, I hope it doesn't leave a mark. And of course, it didn't. But I was very impressed with the cutting. This is my car knife. It is the Roach Belly by Cold Steel. I made a Kydex sheath for it. Bob, the F5.5 is the Urban EDC exclusive knife. Okay. The Sega Ha pattern, Japanese pattern, is the milling pattern in the titanium handles. Okay, thank you, D-Bass. That sounds cool. Urban EDC exclusive knives they have so many cool knives that they commission themselves that are so awesome. Thank you for the info, D-Bass. I appreciate it. Ethan Ruins EDC. Good to have you here, Ethan Ruins. Chris Reeve, Sabenza 31 Small Thunderbird, and Alex Steingraber M4 Sasquatch. How cool. Recently recorded an interview with Alex. He's going to be coming back on the show talking about his folder, the Lumia. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is going to be an incredible one. I'm very excited about that. So definitely look for the interview with Alex Steingraber. I think it's next week. Hey, Jock, good to have you here. Evening all, or 3 a.m. wake up call for me. Damn, either way, glad I could make it. Well, it's good to have you here, man. I was just showing off the let me put it under the camera here. I was just showing off your June Bug. Very cool. People seem to love it. I really like it a lot. That fat handle, including the clip, really help you control this small handled knife. And then I also gave them a glimpse of this. I will be doing the videos this weekend and getting these out to you next week. That is the theme of the show. I have some borrowed knives that have to go out. Addicted to Knives says, love Tucson knives. Yeah, I'm excuse me. Sorry. I am impressed with Tucson knives for sure. But like I said, glad that there aren't too many of them that jump out at me as like must-haves. But I do have a short list. Left pocket, Spyderco Roadie. Right pocket, Petrified Fish Beluga. I'm loving this knife. I got to get that thing. That has made so many people's knives of the year of 2021 list and best front flipper and all that. Max Tikender, good to have you here, sir. Excuse me. I just got the new Heretic Pariah. Oh, a double action knife. How nice, man. I've only experienced them at the booth at Blade Show. I don't own one. I would like to. G-Man W, how's it going, guys? And by own, fostering is just as good. Rusty Cleaver says, I have a mini Beluga in red G-Mascus on the way. Ooh, red G-Mascus and a mini Beluga. I didn't know they did that. Hollywood Tactical, good to see you here, sir. Stack Your Pocket Samurai. I like that little knife. That's the little one, right? And the Rough Rider Tadpole. Hashtag Angry Watermelon. I love that. So this, my car knife. So what I'm saying is I've been in a twine wrapping stage here. Hello, beautiful people, says Shane Gables. Hey, Shane. Good to have you here, man. And so yeah, I just wrapped this with twine. I love the way that looks. Does that, I mean, is it the folksy shiv kind of look that I'm going for? I'm not sure what it is, but I just dig. I love the way this twine feels. It's very grippy, but it's also kind of warm. I like it better than that plastic. Even though I put grooves in the plastic, it always felt a little slippery. Mustumbo, good to have you here. That cute damn dog in your picture there. Rat One and the Anzo credit card. Anzo credit card. That's cool. A Rat One. I mean, it's hard to beat a Rat One. Sean M carried the Civivi all black Badlands Vagabond today. Sleek. That is a cool knife. I like all the knives in that series. I don't know if it's officially a series, but there are a bunch of knives in that vein. Some of them slip joints, some of them locking by Civivi. I think they're beautiful. I really do. And that's one that I'm glad that they grabbed onto and kept running with. G-Man carrying a CQC with the thumb stud. CQC with a thumb stud. Oh, the CQC, that must be the new CQC7 with the thumb stud. Benchmade full-size Crooked River. Oh, Shane, you're breaking my heart, man. I very much regret selling mine. I sold it to get something I wanted more, but I kind of want it back, with its wood and its orange backspacer and the whole 9 yards. Professor EDC says, "Give a like, guys. It's free, and there ain't much free nowadays. That's for damn sure." Thank you, Professor. I appreciate your saying that. Addicted to Knives. Been thinking I need an Emerson for my collection. He says. All right. I think you're right. And I think you need to make a decision. You need to make several decisions, and we can talk about that if you want. But FEMA Camp Etiquette for Dummies. Hi, FEMA Camp Etiquette for Dummies. It's good to have you here. Just comply. That's the root of etiquette. Carried my Sokasha today. Think it's a keeper. Sokasha. What is this witchcraft? Sokasha. Let's see. Sokasha. Okay, I'm coming up empty. I'm coming up. I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to look that up. Sokasha, and then I have the other search saved too. I have a hollow regrind from BMG Knives on the 640. That's what I'm talking about, as well as scales and upgraded thumb discs. So nice. So I've got I have my Carta scales on mine. BGM is who I will have hollow grind it when I do hollow grind it. I have a hollow ground BGM knife right here. This is my Quaken, and this thing, I haven't carried it in over a month since it sliced my finger so nastily. But it's sharp as hell, man. So I do know that. I also know it's tasted my blood, so I will never get rid of it. Byron Kennedy says, Bob and all, have you seen the latest UK tag topic? Top 3 user knives you must replace if you lost. Oh, interesting. No sentimentals or gifts. What are yours? Oh. If I lost them. Okay. Just off the top of my head, XM18. Oh, wait. Well, all right. So users. Yeah. Okay. XM18. If I lost that, I would have to replace it. And if I lost the Sabenza, I would have to replace that. And if I lost this Emerson sax, I'd have to replace that. Now, those are just off the top of my head. I could linger on this question for hours while dreamily gazing into the, opening, the gaping maw of my knife collection and come up with a whole bunch of different scenarios. But right off the top of my head, I'm going to say XM18, Sabenza, and Emerson sax. Hero Stick says, I unhatched. And Byron, you got to let us know what yours are, by the way, please. Hero Sticks says, I unhatched the full Finch's nest last night. Fantastic stuff. Very nice. Carried the 1929 in Crawdad jig bone. So nice. And my TRM Atom and custom trout scales. How cool. Happy day. Custom trout scales. Is that like, for a while you could get, let's see, Able reels. Able is a company that makes really fantastic, I think, anodized aluminum fly fishing reels. They did a collaboration with Spyderco for like 4 different natives that had, I believe, anodized aluminum scales that had trout patterns. Is this what you're talking about? Something similar to this? Let me know. Bosbavak, good to have you here. Carried my Medford M48, nice, with the green scales. I am almost Medfordless. I do have the slip joint, but I feel like I gotta. Well, I don't know. I guess I feel fine about it right now. Evolved EDC, good to have you here, man. Hey yo, he says, always a pleasure. K Mason, Segaha, could be. I think. Evolved EDC carried my Wii Mini Buster. So cool. Snex has a new one coming out with Wii in 2022 that looks so cool. So cool. I just got in and finally landed a Zahn. So happy. Which one? Is it the Drop Point or the Tanto? Curious. Projects with Paul says, I bought a Spyderco Resilience. Very nice. I like the Resilience. That's the big one. Right? Yeah, the Resilience is the big one. That's a cool one. I like that whole budget series, by the way. Jock's Knife says, "Oh, and I want to get the S35VN lightweight tenacious. That looks cool." Jock's Knife says, "Fixed Blade Friday for me carrying the Izula." Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. I like the SE Azula. I don't have one, but I would definitely love to. Here, check this out. Gear ND. I mean, this is coincidence. This is something else. Gear ND says, "Rocked my old trusty SE Azula too. Concept Mini Cryo, awesome knife with flipper, and the GEC 71 Bullnose, also an awesome knife, which is my usual gardening knife, but it's negative 25 degrees Celsius. Holy jeez. So you're 71. Excuse me, what are the covers? I have green canvas micarta. No, I have natural canvas micarta on my 71. And then I have the 23, the larger big brother of that. And then I have a really tight weave linen green micarta that is just knockout. But I know that they've made that in a bunch of different colors, like a beautiful red micarta. Let me know which one you got there. James says, "Got the Lespect here, Bob. Rounded unidirectional carbon fiber scales, nice blue hardware, ano, hidden pivot, and the blade with its amazing hamon. Nice." And something I like about a lot about his designs, and I feel like other French designs, like Guy Poggetti, is the area right where the well, kind of the area right here where the handle meets the blade. Like like on the Guy Poggetti, it'll come here and then it'll just shoot down. And with the Lespect, it has that little dip down, that cool sharpening notch, and then the blade starts. I just think they're elegant, beautiful knives, man. I love Lespect knives from afar, unfortunately, at this point. Steve Clever, petrified fish beluga. It's Kluver, right? You told me once, and now I'm having a senior moment. Petrified beluga for me too, Bob. So look at this. We have a lot of great minds thinking alike. I got to get me the beluga. By hook or by crook. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but I want to get one. Diver Dave, good to see you, Diver Dave, with your cool ass watch. Good morning from Singapore, Bob and everyone. Well, hello to you in Singapore, man. I hope everything is beautiful and peaceful in Singapore. I had a boss who was from Singapore, and I got to say, uh, probably the classiest woman I ever have met outside of my wife, or like in the work environment. She was so cool. She was so cool. May she rest in peace. Hollywood Tactical says CRKT Offbeat has a unique look that's actually like the G&G Hawks strap lock. Okay, that they made for the Buck Marksman. Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about then. The Offbeat. And what do you think of that CJRB backstrap lock that they came out with maybe a year ago, and then that kind of you can't beat a rat one, but you can beat one rat. Yes, that is true. Okay, hot on the heels of that comment, I am going to redeem our good friend Casey for that horrible dad joke, which I respect because I'm full of them when I can remember them. That's my issue. Can't even remember them. But Mr. Casey, you know him as Knives Fast. He's got something special happening. Josh Worth, Marfione CKF knife. Ooh, very nice. Ah, that's the upswept one, right? The Harn's beak is awesome value, Axis style lock, but very useful. Chris-ish hawkbill. So it's like an S curve, kind of like the civilian. All right, let me show this knife. I showed it last week and on the supplemental, and then I'm gonna do a close-up look at it and compare it to other knives and such. But this is a really amazing and interesting and different design. Now, this is from KC Knives Fast. His Kickstarter has just gone live for this knife, and okay, so in that when you see a great movie, you want the same but different. You don't want someone writing some crazy art film that has no plot, has no characters, has no beginning, middle, and end, has no conflict and all that stuff. You want someone to write a movie. You want it to be a revenge movie or a love movie or whatever it is, but you want it to be a movie, but you want it to be different. So that's what I mean when I say same but different. And that's what this is. This is the same in that it's M390 steel. It is titanium. It's a frame lock, but it is different because for so many other reasons. And just look at it. The damn thing looks like you can't decide if it's a sweet sports car or if it's the air supremacy fighter from World War II. So it looks different. It's got this amazing what do you call this thing? Pivot here that looks like a 5-spoked racing wheel. You've got orange peel contoured handle scales. Look at this. Contoured in this aspect, nice and smooth and rounded, which is not easy and not inexpensive. And, it's not an easy thing to do, to contour handles. That's always a premium kind of feature. But the surface has this gorgeous orange peel texture that I never really knew added to grip, but it really does. And it's very subtle. It's not like something you can necessarily feel, but you can. I don't know. It makes a difference, and you certainly can see it. Great grip. Okay, so this is not a review, but great grip, great clip. It carries really well. And as I learned the other night, when I had a stack of boxes that I thought I was going to use for something, and I had to cut. I only cut one box down, but I cut it down very thoroughly because this was fun to do it with, and that was my first. I sort of like allowed myself to use it. Now I'll use it for other things before I'm done with it. And I was very impressed with how this thing cut. So it's not just a pretty face. It is also it's also a great tool. Not just a pretty face. It's a hard work. I don't know. I'm trying to continue the, it's not just ruggedly handsome, but it works well. It'll get the job. I don't know. You know what I mean? This thing is awesome. I like Peter said in his video, I would not sleep on this thing. So go check out here. Jim has the right there in the lower third. There's the what do you call it? The URL, kickstarter.com/project/Tempest Knives/Tempest-Knives-Mach-51, and get in on this. KC, we are going to have KC on the show when it's all good with him, and we're going to talk all about this knife, not just about the knife itself, but the design process, coming up with a different looking design that works very effectively and also happens to be really, really beautiful. So yeah, we're going to talk all about it. So check out KC's Mach. KC is the man, but it's Tempest Knives. That's his knife company, Mach 51. That's this beauty. And I want to find out where it's made. And I think maybe Best Tech made this. I am so unbelievably impressed with Best Tech. I like my Vero engineering knife is a Best Tech made knife, and it is one of my finest in my collection. I think personally, I think they're up there with Riot. I mean, I thought it was a Riot until I, found out that it wasn't. So there we have it. Tempest Knives, Mach 51. Thank you again, KC, for entrusting this. I'm taking good care of it, and I will have it on to the next week. Hollywood Tactical says, how do you think the twin wrap on your fixed blade? How did you do that twin wrap on your fixed blade? I did not do that. This is this BGM did this. So this wrap is a little different from, I don't have it. I just had a traditional wrap, a Tsukamaki wrap done on my Elvia, and my Copus Designs fixed blade Elvia, and Josh Mason, Bright for War, did that and did an incredible job with the ray skin. And on a more traditional wrap than this, the where they cross over here, it twists. You twist it, and then wrap it around the edge, and that twist creates a peak here that doesn't exist on this knife. This knife is also very grippy. The lace has all been soaked in epoxy, but what's nice about this is that since he did not twist them over at the top, there is no center ridge peak, which really does add to grip, but it also adds to width. And this thing is nice and thin, and that's why I got this with cord wrap in the first place, to have it stashed against my person. So I like the way he did this cord wrap. Not quite traditional, but it's evocative of traditional. Underneath, he's got a layer of gutted. Oh, this is all gutted 550 cord. So there's one layer of gutted green 550 cord, and then wrapped around like this. Yes, Harn's beak is like a civilian spider. Okay, civilian Spyderco. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The Mach 51 is beautiful. Hearts in the eyes. I agree with you, man. Todd Carr. Evening, everyone. Good to see you, Todd Carr. Good to have you with us. Speaking of Carr, we were just talking about the fantastic Mach 51, which takes design cues from cars and airplanes and all things good and speedy. I know your name is Carr with 2 R's, but I thought it would make a brilliant segue. Knives Fest. Thanks, Bob. Let them know when I'm ready. Just let me know when I'm ready. Oh, you got it. All right. Well, now that I've had a chance to experience the knife, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow with some dates, and we'll. Oh, it's made by QSP. Jeez, crow, man. QSP too. These guys they're all just killing it. Jeez. Sorry. Excuse the blasphemy, but I mean, I think this thing is really amazing, and now I can add QSP to my very, very high quality list of company. You know, I've experienced the QSP Penguin. I knew it was a great knife, but I didn't know they were able to do this. This is amazing. Byron Kennedy says, Bob, those knives will do. No abyss required. Wait, Bob, those knives will do. No abyss required. Case medium stock, 5th pocket, nice. Milwaukee Fastback, quick razor, and the Cold Steel Recon 1 value BABF folding worker. BABF folding worker. I'm not sure what that means, but Cold Steel Recon 1, one of the greats, one of the all-time greats. KF Boston. Oh, you get a salute. That's right. That's my new thing. KF Boston, thank you so much for this super chat. I'm blown away by your generosity, and I appreciate it greatly. You, sir, deserve a salute with this fine creation. Thank you, KF Boston. I do appreciate it. Very generous with your time and your money, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Max the Maker. I have not yet ordered anything this year, but I'm excited for Artisan Cutlery USA made autos. Yes, me too. And the fact that they're USA made is exciting. It's kind of a reverse of how it usually goes. And I like that. That's good. That shows kind of a good faith thing too. Bose Bavak says, what do you think of the big Hinderer XM24 Bowies that dropped this week? I think they're fantastic. I don't know. I have the big XM24 Bowie that they dropped many years ago. I mean, they haven't made a Bowie in a long time in XM24, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my prized knives. I didn't bring that out. I pulled out the XM24, whatchamacallit, Warncliffe. And I'll say one thing, and I say this a lot, but let me just say it again right here. I think that with the Hinderer knives, the large size 24 is better for fully expressing the beauty of the blade, whether it's the Warncliffe or the Bowie. Those two in particular. The others, not so much. The slicer and the drop point, or the regular drop point, and others, the Spanto, not so much. But with the Bowie in particular and the Warncliffes, I believe that, and I'm just speaking aesthetically, I believe they benefit from the extra length, and it fully allows that blade to express its true nature. It's kind of like when you look at a stubby little sports car and you kind of wish it had a big V12 engine under the hood that stretched the hood out a little bit. I don't know. I don't like stubby car unless it's a Porsche. I don't like stubby little sports cars, and that's kind of how I feel about. So you asked me how do I feel about the Bowie XM24s. I got to be 100% honest. When I saw that, I was like, oh man, that means more people are going to have the XM24 Bowie. And like, I don't know anyone else who has it now. There's going to be like a whole bunch of hoi polloi who has that. And that was a terrible thing to think. And then I immediately chastised myself for being such a shallow and reprehensible individual. But I still feel that way. And yours are going to have the tri-way pivot where mine doesn't. And that's even more disgusting to me. So I'm done. Good night. Just kidding. Hungry like the wolf. I like the Mach 51 design. I'm elated that it doesn't have a front flipper. Me too. Dumbest deployment method I've ever invented. The cockpit canopy fuller cutout is brilliantly executed. I agree, Stooley J. I agree because it is not just decorative. It is useful. It is not just useful. It is decorative. So I like that. James Moore says, I've got nothing to show yet for 2022, but I just ordered the Civivi Altus. I should also get my Sharp by Design Mini Tempest soon. Ooh, so nice. I hope. The Altus, is that the new button lock coming out in 2022? I think it might be. D-Bass, what fixed blade was the Salute done with? That was a beaut. So this, I love an opportunity to show this knife off. This was my 50th birthday knife. It was conceived of by me and commissioned by my folks and made by Mr. Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives. He also did the gorgeous sheath. A couple of things about this knife. It is it's a Bob Loveless patterned fighter, which means it's a long, slender clip point blade, about 8 inches long, both edges completely sharp. This is a pattern weld Damascus of 1095 and 15 N20 that was cut up and hammered and folded and like the process was very cool. He documented all of that. And then the sub hilt and the sub hilt and the quillions here, the guard come from their wrought iron that come from an old bridge in Boston called the Longfellow Bridge. And then that's a nice piece of stag that was very hard for him to work with. So there was a lot that went into making this knife, and it's kind of the knife like my Grail fixed blade knife. I've always wanted a Loveless sub hilt folder, and I love stag, and so this was kind of everything. And then this, I was not expecting the sheath to be such a work of art itself. It is incredible. I call it not a bodice. What do I call that? A corset sheath. It looks like a corset. So very, very nice knife. Thank you for asking. I always love, it's like bragging about, my child made the honor roll, except this is so much better because this doesn't talk back. Sean M says, do we have a super chat number for the Bowie and the Bourbon Salute? Well, there's no bourbon tonight, but do we have a super chat number for, hey man, any super chat gets a salute. Oh, Boz Bavak. Thank you, man. $13.99. That's awesome. Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to salute you with something else, though. Let us see here. Okay, I think I know what it's going to be. I'm going to put this one away. I love fixed blades. I feel like more and more people are kind of coming around to fixed blades, and not. That's a stupid thing to say. Of course, fixed blades have always been around, but I feel like the knife community has really, really, really thrived and rallied around the advancement of folders, even traditional style folders, but fixed blade knives like this beauty. This is my Spartan Harzy folder. Boz Bavak, this is for you, sir. Thank you. This is to catch the. Thank you. That's for you. This is the Spartan Harzy dagger. This thing is so beautiful to me, to my eye. This is just, this is one of those irrational purchases. This is just like, yeah, I know I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to use it, but I get to hold it and look at it. What is that? Michael Morgan says, we Cogent, then Altus, next the Conspirator 3.5 button lock. Okay. It's the Conspirator I've seen. Pictures of the Altus. I know I've seen the name. Professor EDC, my most recent buy was the Jason Guthrie. Okay, I'm going to say it how I intuitively feel it should be said. My most recent buy was the Jason Guthrie Scout, and I absolutely love it. It's perfect. What a cool knife. That knife has grown on me. I especially like that knife with the sheep's foot, right? That is cool. I'm sorry. Can you go back, Jim? There was something there. Oh, just about the Guthrie thing. I've heard people call him Guthrie, and I don't know if they heard him say, "Hi, my name is Jason Guthrie," and blah blah blah, or if they just have never come in contact with the name before and just don't know how to pronounce it. So I'm thinking it's Guthrie. KF Boston says, I just snagged a David Mosier, possibly the best detent action I've experienced. I'm getting hungry like the wolf again, people. I'm about to flip this table. David Mosier, I love David Mosier knives. I mean, to me, he's way up there with Marlowe. He's like one of those guys that I dream of having one of his. So very nice. Sorry, you tripped my. I had to reboot there. That's such a sweet knife, man. Double Edge, how you doing, Double Edge? I like your name. And I like your namesakes as well. Loveless, never loved more. Nice. Indeed. Hollywood Tactical says, for your information, Knife Junkie, M-Tech has a $20 large sub-hilt fixed blade in 440 that's larger than the Cold Steel OSS. Wow. I have the Cold Steel OSS. It lives on top of my fridge where no one can see, except all my ladies know where it is. That OSS is a nice knife, but at 8 inches, I can't imagine needing or wanting much more on that blade. But M-Tech, man, M-Tech bringing the sub-hilt fighter to the masses. I love it. Dan Satermo, good to have you here. It's nice, that knife. Well, thank you. I couldn't agree with you more. Okay, so as you start telling me more about your acquired knives, I'm going to show you some of these recent things. That's a killer piece, he says. I agree. Anything he designs is beautiful to me. This is my Peter Carey designed, another incredible knife maker who is so completely out of reach for me without companies like, say, Monterey Bay Knives. This is I know you love Fixie, says Knife Fast. I really do. Who doesn't, though? I mean, we all love them. They might not be the most practical things, but, who doesn't want a dagger around? I almost never regret buying a fixed blade, but I can't say the same about folders, although some brought extreme joy. Yes. Yeah, right, exactly. You know that the fixed blade will always hold you in good stead, probably. All right, so this is my Monterey Bay Knives Turbo. This was at one time quite a plain Jane, all silver titanium and silver M390 blade with a kind of a lackluster satin that I wasn't crazy about. I sent it to Lindy and Richie, the knife modders, knife modding super couple, power couple over there on the West Coast, and asked them to anodize this in that high voltage green, something like patina-ing Statue of Liberty, and then asked for a darkened stonewash blade, acid stonewash blade, and then told them to do what they will with the clip and the backspacer, and they did an incredible job. Now I realized trying to look at this green on this green background, it's just not doing it, but I want to. It's important to me to show you how amazing this green is that they got there. Maybe against that gray background, it pops a little better. Here, maybe if I put something red next to it, you'll see. All right, that just absolutely didn't work. But they did a beautiful job getting this gorgeous iridescent green. This is my first aftermarket anode job. I've gotten other things done, but never an anodizing and never a full modification like this. They just did a beautiful job. This sort of gold swirly storming anodizing, and the same on this. This looks like it's like a cosmic storm, that you can see through the Hubble telescope or something like that. That's what's going on here, and that's what's going on in the clip, and I just think it's beautiful. And the knife itself is just buttery smooth. It's another one of those I better check to see if there's any blade play, and there never is. It's so nice. And then they I think Wicked Edged or did KME or something. It's really sharp. They put a nice a mirror polished edge on there. It's gorgeous. Todd Carr, knife modders do amazing work. They have the golden touch for sure. Yep. It's really fun to keep up with them on Instagram and see the stuff they do. I mean, they've been doing a lot of fragging. They have a frag. They can mill out frag pattern now. And they've been filling a lot of requests for that. They also do this really cool bark texturing thing that I would definitely like to have. It would actually have been cool to have this done in that bark texturing. Edward says, knife modders elevated that knife in a big way. That's impressive. I would say thank you, but I didn't do it. I agree with you. They did elevate this knife. Really turned it into something special. And to me, I get sentimental about things. I interviewed Sanford Owen of Monterey Bay Knives. I interviewed Peter Carey, the guy who designed this knife, and Lindy and Richie have contributed with comments on this show, and we're going to have them on this show to talk about knife modding and their business and this process. And so this knife I can never get rid of. It's packed full of sentimentality. It's seafoam green, Bob. This is Gear Endy. This is not seafoam green. I, probably unlike you, lived through the entirety of the 70s. I know seafoam green. This is not our kitchen growing up with seafoam green. This, it's kind of hard to see. Maybe this camera will show off. That's a little more like it. It looks like, have you ever seen some of those Japanese concept cars from the 80s that were like, they looked like the colors were like the eyes of dragonflies? That's kind of what this is like. Seafoam green. Well, you almost made me mess my leisure suit. Professor EDC says LL and Richie are fantastic. Yeah, they are, man. They do great work. And now I have like a whole bunch of things I'd love to send to them. Maybe not a whole bunch. I like the way most of my knives are, but I got some stuff I wouldn't mind having them take a look at. Hero Stick says the contrast between the blade and the scale finish is all yes. So this goes way back. I love this combination, and I acquired a taste for that color combination when Randy Johnson was doing a lot of videos and showing the stuff he was modding. He would do green. I guess green takes an awful lot of work to get to. I'm not sure. Modded MBKs, says K Mason. Yeah. Candy apple green. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. You know what? I'm going to coin it right here. It's not candy apple green. It's dragonfly eye green. What do you think? Justin Belcher, looks like pagan green. Ooh, that sounds like a good color. Pagan green. It's sort of a bit of mystery in there. This is a better way to look at it, definitely, than over this green. So, Lonely Stacker, good to have you here. Yes, good neon green like my Plymouth neon. Oh, good Lord. Here we go. Yeah, I guess you're right. Neon is closer to anything besides dragonfly eye green. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue, though. It's kind of crazy just talking about knives and how much I enjoy this. Yes, I know. It is crazy. Don't do the math. You know, whether it's the math of how much you've spent time-wise, or how much you've spent money-wise, or how much time you spend thinking about this stuff, or hunting things down. It can be a problem. Honestly, looks like seafoam green to me. God damn it. It's not seafoam green. Yeah, candy apple. All right, maybe it's candy apple. Statue of Liberty patina green, perhaps. Okay, that camera swap just changed the whole look. Now I get too fast. Yes. This is my Tokyo Drift green right here. I'm going to get my Lambo this color. Mystic green. Dan, you win. Mystic green. See, we can all key lime titanium. That kind of works too. Mystic green is nice because it's open-ended, and we can all kind of agree it's mystical because we can't agree on what it is. Whatever green it is, it's beautiful. Justin, you're a diplomat, sir. I like how you just cut to the quick. Lonely Stacker 777 says, if your girlfriends heard us comparing our if our girlfriend, yeah, right, exactly. They think we're cheating. It's like that meme. They think we're cheating, but in reality, it's candy apple green. It's not candy apple green. It's exactly. Todd Carr, it's so hard to judge a color over a camera. I'm sure it looks even more amazing in person. It is. And you know what's interesting? This being my first fully colored anodization job, I'm seeing all of the I'm not sure if you can see this, all the kind of prints that I'm leaving on it with my hands. And I know that eventually it's what, a Windex? Is that how you clean full ano like this? Mr. Beyond the Beard, good to see you, sir. Doing the math helps justify better storage. Huh. That's good. That's good. This is a man who looks reality straight, squarely in the face. And I appreciate that because in doing so, he gets better storage for his knives and a clearer view of reality. And we should all do that. And I will get to that tomorrow. KF Boston says, good night, all. Off tomorrow. Good weekend, everyone. Oh, man, he's off tomorrow. KF Boston, have a wonderful Friday. Happy Friday. Thank you for that super chat. Always a pleasure to have you here contributing to the conversation. Have a wonderful weekend, sir. Projects with Paul says, Google Dragonfly Green. That's it. Oh, huh. What do you know? See, Mom and Dad, that art school paid off. Let's see. Dragonfly Green. That's what I'm talking about right there. That is it. See, Lindy and Richie captured the natural world and just jammed it into that titanium, which was what I paid him for. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Dragonfly Eye Green. That's what it is. That's what it is. Even if it doesn't roll off the tongue. Okay, so I'm really psyched about this, and it's now changing my thinking a bit about some of the other knives I have. I might continue on this road. A couple of knives, cool things that I got in from a viewer, Jamie, you know who you are, Jamie White. He's been making knives recently, and he's been showing me and sending me DMs, just kind of like keeping me abreast of his progress. And he asked if I wanted to see a few, and I said, hell yeah, send them over. So he sent a couple of knives my way. And the first one I'm going to show was a gift that he gave to me, which I'm really psyched about because it's very cool. All right, I'll show you this. This is my own sheath that I made for it. I will change this soon, but look at this little thing. This is a tiny little straight razor that he made out of a scrap. It's super sharp. It's very thin. It's a damn razor. It's a little razor. It's so cool. It shaves off my arm. It shaves hair off the arm. Haven't tried the face, for obvious reasons. But I'm gonna make a little leather slip for this and just drop it in the pocket. It's very sharp though, so I got to make sure that I put like a little leather welt so it doesn't cut through the stitching or cut through the leather. But Jamie, thank you so much. This is a very, very thoughtful gift, and it reminds me of all many of our trusted voices in YouTubery have special knives that they use for unboxing. I could see this doing that sometimes, though I like to mix things up. I thoroughly that we were going with Mystic Green. I thoroughly thought we were going, yeah. Okay, well, Dan, I think Mystic Green, it's part of it. Hey, what's up, guys? We have Lindy and or Richie with us. We were just talking about the knife you modded and coming up with a name for the green. I came up with Dragonfly Eye Green. And there are other great ones like Mystic Green, but some other people were coming up with some that didn't please me as much. But guys, I am absolutely in love with this, and everyone else is. And against that green, it looks awful. But here, let me just put it up right here for you to see. So awesome and wickedly, stupidly sharp. Thank you, guys. Beautiful. I was describing the backspacer as it looks like a solar, or not a solar, it looks like a celestial storm as viewed through the Hubble telescope on this backspacer. It's very cool. I need to Windex this sucker soon because I'm just pawing it so much. I want all that color to come back. Kevin Moore says, I've never had a modded knife, but I want to. Kevin, get in touch with the knife modders through Instagram and I'm sure elsewhere. Glad to hear it, my friend. Hey, made this knife come to life, and I will be getting to you. I've had a very busy couple of days. I'll be getting to you with those dates, by the way. Mystic Dragonfly Green, I think, is pretty much there. Mystic Dragonfly Eye Green is what you could call it. That's long for Mystic Dragonfly Green. But D-Bass, I think you too are a diplomat, sir. Let me show two other knives that Jamie sent over that he's been working on. And they're really cool. Someone mentioned that they were carrying a mini sharp finger before. Well, this one is evocative of the classic sharp finger, first made by Schrade, I believe. And this is a long, thin, nasty, thin, slicey cutter. One of them is in 3V and one of them is in S35. And I'm not sure what the razor is in. So the one I'm about to show is either in 3V or S35. I think this is the one in S35. He obviously has a jimping file that he's very good at using. The jimping in this is awesome. I want a jimping file just for the gratification of it, because you can just jimp metal. Anyway, turquoise here and some other stone, very beautiful blue and green there, and then carbon fiber. I like the mixture of the natural ancient materials with the modern man-made materials. It's got a squarish, blocky handle that feels great in hand. It's just the right size in all dimensions that the blockiness of it works. Very cool knife and unique looking, and looks like something, like it looks like a sharp finger, but it's not a sharp finger. So I like that. Okay, next up, he sent me this cool package. I'll just pull it out. Package, pull it out. Jeez, who writes your lines, Bob? All right, so this is quite a beauty. Look at how polished that is, man. This thing here, look, you can see, look at the profile. Look at the profile of that guy. Look at that. Very, very nicely mirror polished. I believe this is the 3V. It would make sense anyway for this to be the 3V one. It's very, very thin ground. It's fully flat ground. He's kind of does like this soft swedging on the top, but in all the polishing, polishing does remove grind lines naturally, but it also removes transition lines like between a swedge and a main bevel. And the whole thing is beautifully smoothed out. And I have not cut with this. I got to do some sort of cut testing with this one, because I believe that the broadness of the blade, the full height of the flat grind, and the super polish on this thing is going to just make it glide through material. So I'm very impressed with his first knives out of the gate. Interesting ergonomics on the back of this handle. It's very comfortable in a saber grip, or up here in like a Filipino grip, using this nice jimping here. And it's got a little exposed pommel in case you got to knock some noggins. 55 watching, only 45 like. Oh man, that means there are 11 really, sort of bitter, resentful people just watching. Like, I'm not going to hit the like button for this dude. He just keeps yammering on about knives. Well, we've all been bitter and resentful from time to time, so you're forgiven. But you might consider hitting the like button. Gotta run, y'all. Great show, Bob, as always. Thank you, Casey. Take care, man. Beautiful knife. Look for the video. I'll send you a link so you don't have to look for it. All right, thanks for loaning it to me. Take care, Casey. So yeah, here we go. Jamie White, beautifully done, man. I look forward to seeing the other knives. He's working on this one right now. It reminds me of a fixed bladed Frenzy. It's kind of a long, thin, downward pointing blade. Very cool, sickle like blade. And then he sent me one other knife to check out, and this is a classic. This is a dagger here. This is the Boker Applegate Fairbairn dagger. So Rex Applegate and Colonel Fairbairn came together to make a sweet ass dagger. This is one of them. They come in different lengths. This is a I'm sorry. The high polish you're seeing here was done by Jamie White. He was not happy with the finish. I think it was a blasted finish on this, and so he polished it down, and it still is pretty damn sharp. It doesn't feel sharp when you do this, and then when you slice through paper, you realize it's incredibly keen on the edge. Point got a little rounded, but you could still push it into something. Cool thing about this, and I do like this on daggers. Cold Steel does some of their push daggers and some of their other daggers like this, where it's a chisel ground side and then the bevels on one side, and that way you have a dagger that cuts better than if its cross section were a diamond. Because if its cross section were a diamond, the angle would be more oblique where it reaches the edge. This way, as a chisel, it's a much more acute angle at the edge. And not for nothing, but oftentimes this surface on these kind of daggers, on this one and on those Cold Steels, is actually a little bit concave. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe to reduce suction if it's plunged into the gut of a bad guy. I don't know if all that suction stuff is actually true, but is that a triangular blade? Well, kind of in cross section. I wouldn't say it's like a Geneva Convention triangular blade, but it is triangular because it's chisel ground, and then it has two steep bevels that are flat ground. So it is pretty triangular, but again, I don't think it's triangular in the menacing on purpose kind of way. Boker Sykes Fairbairn is so much on the secondary market. Why it's discontinued beats me. Is it? Do you mean it costs so much money? Oh, it must cost a lot. It you know what? And it also costs. This is the Applegate Fairbairn. This one also is expensive on the on the secondary market, but also on the primary market. If you want to get this right now from Boker, I think it might be an inch or a half inch longer, but the handle is tan canvas micarta. It is not a chisel ground, I believe, and that sucker's expensive. It's like $500 or something like that. Hawaii Knife and Gear, good to see you here. Hey guys, he says. Well, hey man, good to have you. Boker Applegate Fairbairn on loan from Jamie White. It's a very cool knife. I would love to have an Applegate Fairbairn of my own. I feel like this could be a dagger that you could actually carry every day. Also, if you carry it in the way I do, though it might be a little fat in the handle and maybe just a little heavy overall. But I do like the peaked pommel. Gives you a perfect place for sure purchase when you wrap your thumb around. I like to have a peak on the pommel. You can wrap your thumb around. This thing is just built for adventure. I like this knife. All right. Well, thank you for loaning me that. I've always kind of wanted one of those, and I'm glad to have experienced it. Next up, I want to talk about some sad news. I mean, it's sad whenever an industry loses a luminary, and this knife industry lost a luminary in Mel Pardue. He's the gentleman who designed so many of our most beloved Benchmades, including the Griptilians, and just he was the guy. I heard an interesting story about how he designed the Griptilian. It was his daughter was in the hospital for something, and he was really stressed out, but he had a deadline to make this knife, and he just sort of whipped it out in the waiting room while like dealing with much more important stuff. And then he, just in that sort of offhanded, I mean, I'm sure it was percolating for a long time, but that's how it just kind of made its way out of him. And I think it's a cool story. I love hearing stories of how certain things are created and like that. So Mel Pardue, thank you for your contributions. And I don't know what to say. I didn't know the man, but I know that the industry lost someone important. So we think about him. We think about his family. So thank you, Mel Pardue, for all you have done for us. And it's been quite a bit. A lot of people here are dig their Benchmades, especially their Griptilians. So we have a knife fight tonight, and I have no one to fight with, but I think I might do this one on my own. I've been shying away from the solo knife fights recently, but I think this one might just do it. Okay, this one is modded knife versus custom knife. This one is particularly close to home, seeing as I've been on a custom fixed blade tear and then just got really excited. May he rest in peace, says Professor EDC. Yes, indeed. And then this from the knife modders has gotten me really excited about this concept. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, I'm going to give myself a minute and a half for each position. And which one will I do first? Bob versus Bob. Classic matchup. All right, I'm going to do custom knife first. Okay. Check my watch in 1. Okay. Custom knives are not as fancy as you may think. Custom knives are not as exclusive as you may think. Custom knives have been made for as long as we've been making knives. They have been custom. Only in recent years have we taken them into the production realm with our modernity, where we can pump out thousands of knives. And when you do that, you get a certain anonymity with each knife. Each knife becomes just another knife, just another rake, just another wrench, just another PVC pipe, until it's made special. Well, with a custom knife, you're making it special from the start. You're reaching out to a knife maker that has special qualities, and you are tapping into his or her special qualities and extracting the best knife you can for who you are and what you are from that individual. And when the knife comes back, say like this BGM Quaken, it is perfectly, gorgeously, hollowly ground in 3V with the cord wrap I wanted, with the color combination I wanted, and with a sheath with the carry system that I wanted. This thing is perfect for me. This is a knife. It is an important tool, and it is a dangerous, dangerous cutting tool. Therefore, you should always have one that is made just for you so that you never slip up and make a mistake. Custom knife is obviously the superior knife. And scene. All right. That was excellent, Bob. That was excellent. But I think I might have you on this next one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's something that the kids are talking about quite a bit, actually. Dissociative disorder or something. Yeah. But both Bobs are brilliant, like charming, handsome, rich, and super cool. All of those are true, but one. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so next is the modded knife. Okay. Must be nice. Fewer words of bitterness have been said than must be nice. I say that just to kind of warm up the crowd, make them laugh a little bit, but there is a little bit of truth behind it. We cannot all afford custom knives. We cannot all afford to seek out the designers that we like best and have them make something for us individuals. Here is a Peter Carey design. Peter Carey is possibly one of my very favorite designers. If I were to try and get a Peter Carey, it would be an arduous task, and it would be an outrageously expensive prospect. I do not have $3,000 to spend on the secondary market, nor do I have several years and several $1,000s to get a new one custom made just for me. However, I can go to a Monterey Bay Knives. I can get a knife like this for $200, and I can send it to the good people like our knife modding power couple, Richie and Lindy, the knife modders, and have them turn it into something that the knife maker couldn't have made for me in the first place. So if you want a knife that is all your own, you should seek out a designer that resonates with you. You should seek out a design that resonates with you, and then you should buy it on the production market, and then send it to some good, clean, down home American small business people, and have them make it into your knife. And that's where you'll really get the individualized knife. And thank you. Well, I don't know. What do you think? I think that, it's like measuring brilliance against brilliance is always going to blind you. Charismatic and most of all, humble. You're right. I am the most humblest of all, really. Custom knife has more resale value. A modded knife will never get back what you put into it. But are you going to get rid of that modded knife? All that being said, that is kind of a decent point. That is a decent point, because a custom knife people will seek out because it's a custom knife by a certain maker, whereas the mods I've had done to this might not be anyone else's bag. I'm sorry, Jim. Can you show me the last comment real quick? Dan says, unless the custom knife maker sucks. Okay, well, yeah, unless he sucks. That's true. Hawaii Knife and Gear says, everything I make is custom. Some still suck and go right into the box of shame. Hawaii Knife and Gear, I want to see what you make. I mean, I know you make those Koa knuckles. Those looked so cool. 200 is already expensive for me. Well, it is expensive, Dan. It's expensive unless you've fallen victim to the progressive insanity of knife collecting, as Rob Bixby put it. The Apostle P. Bob won. I love it. I always win when I do these. No losers, just learning. Man, I was saying something, just evaporated off the top of my head. I would love a 100% custom Lonely Stacker 777 knife sword, but a modded knife is way more attainable. That would be cool. Knife or sword. You don't hear of too many people modding fixed blades. They should. Then again, maybe there's not much of a market for it. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know what's happening. Coming apart here. All right. Well, I think Jim is throwing up this lower third because he's like, hey, Bob, what's going on with you? Now people are just watching you wipe your nose. Tell them to check out theknifejunkie.com for videos, podcasts, photos, and more. So definitely do that. And check us out on Wednesdays for the midweek supplemental, Sundays for the interview. Jim, who do we have coming up this weekend? We have some... whenever we get ahead of ourselves, which is where I like to be, I lose track of who's next. Oh, we have Treddy this weekend. So just spoke with Treddy. You know him. He's a YouTuber from Switzerland. He has got some amazing taste, a very nice collection, and he was awesome to talk to. Just a really cool guy, very knowledgeable. Treddy looks like 7 Ready, but he goes by Treddy. He's a Swiss YouTuber. Definitely check out that on Sunday. He shows off some pretty cool knives that he's one of these guys, kind of like Shabazz. He doesn't show his face. He just shows a field of gorgeous knives. It's like a field of leather with a bunch of gorgeous knives on top of it. Check out my Instagram. I post there mostly. Okay, I will. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget it out of my head. Hawaii Knife and Gear. Okay. So yeah, do check that out, Treddy. Next Wednesday, we got the supplemental. I'm going to be doing some videos this week. I posted a couple of videos this week, doing pretty much a video a day. And it's either a podcast like this or a live like this, or it's an up-close video. Or I've been loving these little shorts, man. They're fun to do too. Dan says, I kind of have, but cheaper versions. I know I might be able to sell some, lose money, and have one custom, but always wanting more. It's weird. It is so weird how one begets another. It's like you're never happy. I used to make fun of my brother because he used to have a gun collection. He has guns, but it's not a collection. He's wended it down to, I don't know, several hundred that he needs. But you just cannot fill the void. The void is always moving. Oh, you need a polymer handled pistol? Okay, you got that, but you forgot you don't have a wheel gun. Oh, you got your wheel gun? Oh, you don't have a Spaz 12. That's what I want. I want a Franchi Spaz 12, like from the Terminator. I always thought that was the coolest looking gun. Todd Carr says pretty much any hobby you get into is expensive depending on how much time and work is involved. That's for sure. And we're just talking about guns. So glad that's not my hobby. That's an expensive hobby. Cars, I do love cars, but so glad that's not my hobby. I don't have the right job to have cars as a hobby. I mean, geez, man. So just, tell your significant other that they got off easy marrying or getting shacked up or being hooked up with someone who's only into knives. All right, guys. So before we sign off here, be sure to check out Kickstarter for the Tempest Knives Mach 51. This unique and gorgeous, and now I know awesome cutting tool. This thing cuts really well, and it's not just a pretty face. So do check out Casey's Kickstarter. Just started for this knife, and I think it will no doubt be fully funded, and I'm sure way more so. And I look forward to seeing this in production and seeing more Casey's stuff being made and designs being made. All right, that's me. Thank you, Jim. Recognizing behavior is priceless. Exactly. Yeah. That way you can move ahead informed about life. All right. So I'm going to thank Jim. Thank you, Jim, for everything you do. Not just what we see, but everything you do always and everywhere. And like this cool Patreon QR code. Check us out on Patreon. 3 different levels of support, and you get a lot of stuff like interview extras, knife winning capabilities, and other such things. Quickest way to do it is to go to thenifejunkie.com/Patreon. All right, everybody. For Jim working his magic, I'm Bob saying thank you so much, and until next time, don't take dull for an answer.